Happy birthday.
I don't know what to say.
Well, you could say thank you.
Thank you.
God damn it, Jim, what the hell's the matter with you? Other people have birthdays. Why are we treating yours like a funeral?
Bones, I don't want to be lectured.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Gundamn at MAHQ. This is one of your hosts, Neo, and joining me always, is Sobro. Sobro, say hello. Sobro, how are you?
What's going on, everybody? I'm not muted. Who knew?
Oh, right. He knew where his mute button was.
I knew. I knew where my mute button was finally after all these years. But yeah, so
Sobro, you're getting better at the tech stuff.
Yo, just
gotta say,
just a little.
Oh man. And Sobro, last episode was fun. 228 was fun, but it's back to the old grind now. We have our slave master, Chris. Oh, I'm sorry. Long live King Chris. He is the best. All his opinions are our opinions.
Know your place, peon.
Sobro, he's like, are we in the last Skywalker version of or the Rise of Skywalker version of
Gundam?
Of Gundam, because the emperor himself, Chris, has reanimated.
There you go, man. He has returned.
Welcome, Chris. How's it going?
No, it's going.
All right. And in this episode, we're going to be doing. Oh man, we're going back to Star Trek. It's like,
yeah,
wow,
man.
it's who has CBS access? I guess these guys. Huh?
Apparently, we do.
And we are going to be talking about. Well, I think we talked about this at the end of the Picard episode. Mm-hmm. I would have to say, Chris, this is probably what the King Arthur of the King Arthur, the strategy crossroad of Star Trek shows, Star Trek Lower Decks. Got that guarantee.
I have a Solbros man already picked out for Lower Decks.
Do you? Oh my god! I wonder if it's the same character that other people have been telling me. We're gonna find out.
I'm wondering if it's the one I'm thinking.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
Man, yeah. I'm excited to find out who is Solbros man in Lower Decks. Indeed. Oh, Yazi, you're gonna have to remind me. Yazi, you're gonna have to remind me who you guys said was my Solbros man, because I did a commentary for the show. And some people tuned in, and they said right off the bat, towards the end, they said who Sobro's man was, and I'm totally blanking on it now. So we'll see if they both meet up in the middle. I'm excited.
Okay. All right. King of the Prime Directive is what I'm seeing in the chat. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. So, anything, guys? As I saunter over to the Larry King Memorial News Studio, And thank God that 2020 hasn't taken the king yet, because
thank
God
goodness,
damn it,
dude.
it's been a bad.
It's taking everybody else, bro.
Why you
No.
gotta jinx?
Oh shit! Yeah, that's true. I should have done that.
Everybody's
Damn you!
open for business. I just want to remind people that you can watch this live over on twitch.tv/fightersready, or you can watch it over on youtube.com/GundamnMAHQ, and we'll also run the show back there as well. The episodes are archived over on youtube.com/Gundamn MAHQ, so you can always go over there and check that out. But it's either way, you can watch. Either way, you'll see your chat come on the screen. And thank you for watching live or watching the run back, man. And also make sure to visit mahq.net, the Mecha Anime headquarters. Great website. It's why we're here.
Yeah, and still don't forget to get it off of like iTunes and stuff, and
Yeah.
just do whatever. I mean,
I
you guys
let
have
people know
14
that.
different devices.
You do indeed.
So-
iTunes, Stitcher, all Google. You can.
Did you guys get that that email from Google well, I said Google, but yeah, basically YouTube earlier this week? It's like basically everything you do on YouTube, we're just going to make money off of it and use it to harvest data.
Yeah,
So
they've already been selling our data for the longest. Google is one of the worst infringers of that, man. I mean, it makes more money than, I believe, oil or energy now. So the sale of data is incredibly profitable, and I hope one day we can get ownership of it, but I doubt it.
Hey, Soulbro. More
Yes.
importantly, where are those audio episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Audio episodes can be found over on Gundamn.podbean.com. So if you guys want to find the audio episodes, what's up?
You know what I mean about the audio episodes.
Oh, these audio episodes, the
the
ones that
ones
are
that-
missing,
yeah.
the ones that are
Yeah.
missing are going to be going up. That's my project during the Christmas season to actually get those up. So
Yeah, come
we're
on,
gonna-
man.
we're gonna-
You're not going
It's
to go
gonna be-
anywhere. COVID.
Man, it's true,
Well-
but it is my mission to get them up. I've already actually made several promises to get that done on some of the streams.
I'm just
so.
putting you on the spot now, so we don't
Yeah.
have to answer it 20,000 more times.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you're right to
exactly.
do so. I'm not mad at that at all. So it's got, before the first of the year, you'll find that there'll be new episodes up there that have been archived from that. I think we left off at 202, audio-wise. I have to go and look. But those and some of the missing specials will be up in the audio feed.
Is that a Soulbro guarantee?
It's a Soul Bro guarantee. We're going to get it done.
Oh,
Yeah,
you heard
hold me
it,
to
folks.
Man.
Either that, or y'all can read my ass next year. So I don't want that shit. I'm gonna get it done. So
Because you know they're going to be running. People are running out of content, man.
Yeah,
They're
oh,
like
boy.
people. They've watched all of Netflix.
Yeah.
And you know
it's gonna be quick and
I
dirty.
feel
So
bad if you did that.
it's
but-
gonna be basically the audio versions of these with the with just basically starting from the start of the show to the end of the podcast without the bumps and all that stuff. So that's what y'all will get. And yeah, Lies and Slander, the podcast will never be put up on iTunes. Shout out to Zaldron. Zaldron's been one of the champions of saying, yo, when are these audio episodes going up? When is it gonna happen? Yo, Zaldron, as sure as you beat my ass at Gundam Versus, these episodes are going
Yeah, continue to do that, Zaltron. He needs
Indeed.
it. He needs
Indeed.
it.
Yo, keep it up. Keep it up. I welcome it.
And always remember when there's EX versus the Gundam Nation.
Yeah, this Saturday.
Always retreat with the additional hashtag of kill SBR.
No, it's called Target
Yeah.
SBR. Get it right.
Oh, is it Target SBR?
Target
Okay.
SBR. Let's not kill
Target
nobody,
SBR.
please.
Sorry.
There you go.
We're a family show. I get that.
There you go. No murder in this house. Just humiliation. That's pretty
No,
much it.
just humiliation. That's it.
There you go. Daily. But I turn it back to you, Neo.
Oh man, we got some good news here. And if you ever have any news, you can always submit it to the Neos Listener Submitted News Articles thread in the Gundam section of the Mecha Talk forum. And oh man, this is wow. We're breaking the paradigm here, man. Oh my gosh, it's not it's not Rodimus 76 as our first poster. It's the
shit.
Black Cat. Yeah, holy crap! I know this is this is uncharted territory, man. I don't know what to do here. And it looks like good old, according to the Anime News Network, it looks like good old Yoshiyuki Tomino is trying to develop 3 new projects, man. Yeah, they revealed at the Gunpla Expo Tokyo Gundam Conference Stage event anime new director and original Mobile Suit creator Yoshiyuki Tomino is working on 3 new projects after he finishes Gundam Reconquista and G compilation films. So, of course, those films are coming out. Looks like film 2 is going to be coming out February 21st of next year. The third film, which is called The Legacy of Space, is going to be sometime next summer. But no other word on that. So I guess he's got 3 new projects. So I don't know what that could be. What would you wish, Sobro? What would you wish that Tomino is developing?
Man, you know, we gotta go with the classic, man. Crossbone Gundam. I'm fucking.
Oh, Crossbone Gundam? Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm sure Chris is on board with that, right? You would want to see Tomino's version of Crossbone Gundam up on the screen.
But what I would like to see Tomino develop is his retirement plan.
Oh. Well, maybe that's one of the projects. I don't know. I mean,
oh man, you know what? I wanted to do Gundam Sosei. I wanted to do that. I do. That would be so good. Give me some Gundam Sosei, man. Granted, he didn't write it, but I'm sure he could direct it. So,
and then he'll say, "After 40 years, I was finally vindicated about Sailor's nipples."
Exactly. Yo,
yes.
I mean, other than that, on a serious tip, I'd probably say Botorska's Children. Maybe like an OVA series of that, kind of like an alternate take of Char's Counterattack, would be interesting to see. Or if you wanted to do a movie series based on the original Mobile Suit Gundam novel, you know, something cool. I would say Return to Bison well, but he tried and it failed, so not so much that.
But guys, how about if he just did nothing?
Yeah. How about that? Yo, how about he just enjoys?
Just go out on top, man.
He's an old man who clearly is past his prime and is not going to go out on top, and his output is not going to increase in quality from this point on. So let's not pitch these dream projects that would want him to do, and let's just ask him to please do nothing.
Yeah, just collect your pension.
Go away.
Collect your pension. Robot nurse. Because I think that's what they issue all the older people now in Japan. Robot nurse, get your pension, you know, go play mahjong in the park when you're able to go back there. And yeah. I mean, if I could, I'd rather have a 3-movie compilation of what the chef on the White Base did after the war.
Yeah,
and his desire to find the ultimate salt, you know. So I mean, that would be the best, but. Because, you know, salt's very important for the body. So thank you, Mr. the Black Cat, for your submission. Oh, man. The next one comes here from Rodimus76, and it looks like there's a new Mobile Suit Gundam movie.
Oh.
Well, it looks like it's Hathaway's Flash.
Oh, yes.
And they announced the date. And
there's perhaps no bigger master of horror in the world of manga and anime than Junji Ito. And what better time than now to break down...
So, it doesn't look like we got an actual date here. Oh, May 7th, 2021. There we go. So, it was delayed due to COVID. What's that? Is that really a pandemic? I don't know. Maybe it's an endemic now. But so yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. You know, so Chris, you have any additional insight on Hathaway's Flash?
The new trailer they put out is seizure-inducing garbage.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? You know,
it's one of the worst trailers I have ever seen. It is so visually overdone with the fast cuts and the flashing lights that it's like. Why didn't anyone think this was good?
Doesn't give you a lot of hope, does it? That kind of scares me when I see that. I'm like, eh.
I'm not going to judge a movie based off the trailer, but like that's just a really bad trailer.
Yeah. Yep. So thank you, Mr. Rodimus76. Oh man, if you guys, well, I mean, this is going to be part of the uniform now, face mask. So on Mashable, Rodimus76, you got a link here. You know, Bandai's done it. They'll market anything. They now have Gundam inspired face mask.
Oh boy!
So you can have one. Oh man, for the genocidal maniac in your family, this would be the perfect Christmas gift. You can get the Xeon logo, Char Saku, Red Zaku, and his special insignia. So you get the Char, and then of course you get the ornate, and it looks like you get the officer version, and then like the scrub version of the Xeon logo there. So yeah, man.
Wow.
I guess you guys.
So,
yeah. I mean,
did we miss the Federation run, or is there not going to be any Federation related?
Well, come on, man. Everybody loves the Xeon.
Everybody loves the Zeeks,
outside of the genocidal part of them, and they're just misunderstood space noids. Come on, man.
Some people specifically love the genocidal parts.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
They
need to be talked to.
So
you know who you are and what kind of flags you like to fly.
Ooh.
That aren't just Xeon flags. You know what I'm talking about.
Yikes.
Yeah.
People need to reassess their lives. They do.
Yeah,
Ooh.
They do.
Tough.
Yeah. So yeah, there's two sets. The Char Customs, and then of course the Principality of Xeon. Nothing like looking like Gear and Zabi while you're out getting some stuff in Trader Joe's when you got to have the face mask on.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Oh yeah. So there you go.
It's pretty cool. I guess merchandise and other.
I'm surprised it took this long, to be honest with you.
Me too,
I mean, to be honest,
in Japan,
I'm really
wear
surprised
those masks. Yeah, because they wear those masks even before COVID. Like, it's a courtesy thing that they've been doing in Japan for a long time. It's kind of weird that they're not weird, but it's a long time coming for them to do this.
Oh, on a side note, the head of new product development at Bandai has just been fired. No, just kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Indeed.
Yes, I don't know who it is. And Rod of 76 comes back with another link to Geek Tyrant here, and it is kind of interesting. It gives you something to watch. If you're running out of things to watch, I guess there's a trailer for a new documentary that's going to be focusing on the original Star Wars holiday special.
What?
And talks about how it came to exist. I thought the reason why it came to exist, it was one of those things where strike where the iron's hot, and let's just see if we can make some money off of something, and by slapping something together.
That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, are they going to show any footage from this? Because I thought like, George Lucas sent out all his minions to destroy all the copies of this.
I mean, it exists, and they just have never re-released it. And the whole point is that they're doing the Lego Star Wars holiday special to spoof this whole thing.
Have any of you I've only seen like little things of the holiday special. Have you ever seen like the entire thing or most of it?
I have.
I've never seen the whole thing because I don't think I could bear to watch it.
It looks terrible.
Sat through it all, unfortunately. It's as awful as they say. Yo, B. Arthur though.
But those memes like fucking Chewie's horrible children who look just like they need to be murdered.
Man, Chewie's father, I guess, the grandfather in the bunch. He's obsessed with Diane Carroll. I'm amazed he's not pleasuring himself when he's watching her through that hollow view or whatever the hell it is.
Are you telling me that he might be the Harvey Weinstein of Star Wars? Like we're gonna find out that Chewie's grandfather did all these horrible things.
Hey man, all I know is he's got a thing for Diane Carroll, and he's not afraid to show it. So yeah, it's.
I just remember the scenes they show of it like with a horribly annoyed Harrison Ford, and there's just like that terribly animated thing with Boba Fett.
Yo, man, Boba Fett, the first animated character to become live action. in Star Wars, which is significant this week because of Mando, a character showing up in last week anyway.
Oh, spoiler alert!
Yeah, man, I won't say who it is. I won't say who it is.
Oh, spoiler alert!
That character's not the first character to transition from animation to live action, because I think after Boba Fett, it was I forget his name, but Forrest Whitaker played him in Rogue One and in Rebels.
Saw Gerrera,
yeah. And then the third one was at first because not only did she play her in Clone Wars and in Rebels, but she got to play her in live action. So it's the same actress from all appearances. So yeah, man, it's an interesting week for crossover in canon when it comes to Star Wars, man. But the holiday special, God forbid that's canon. God forbid.
We can only hope.
But fun fact.
I wonder if that was specifically written out of the bill of sale between George Lucas and Disney. Like, George Lucas said, I'm going to give you everything. You can have everything, yet the Star Wars holiday special remains mine.
Yeah. Well, the fun fact, John...
I can't ever release the Star Wars holiday special. You can never release the original version of the trilogy because that's just, I don't like it, so nobody else can have it.
Well, fun fact, Jon Favreau loves the holiday special, and he's been wanting to make another one since he's been working at Disney. So we may see another one in our lifetime, one that's made by him.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm sure it'll be tongue-in-cheek as hell, and actually probably be entertaining to watch, because, you know, let's not put out another bad piece of work. If you're gonna do it, I'm sure they'll get some clever people to write it.
Well, Disney already gave us a Star Wars themed Christmas turd last year, so.
What are you saying? Rise of Skywalker?
My goodness.
I'm just saying.
He's just saying. Indeed.
You guys hate that. It's not that bad. Like, I mean, there's bad stuff out there.
Oh, it's pretty bad. It is pretty bad.
It's not terrible. I will say this: it looks good in Ultra HD, though.
Oh, sure it does.
It's really good.
Rise of Skywalker looks good in Ultra HD. I'm sure.
It's pretty.
I'm sure the prequels do
too. Oh man, I got another one here. Hey, fuck you on the prequels.
The prequels, baby. Oof.
Let's not get into that debate.
Come on,
so sorry.
bro.
Let me not hurt any feelings. Like, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Rider 76 comes back. Oh man, I was wondering when they were going to do this, but it looks like we're going to see a remake of Johnny Number 5. Short Circuit, man. And get this. They're going to put a Latinx spin on it. Yeah. The one word that all Latin people hate to hear, Latinx.
This is the first I'm hearing this word. Holy shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's from what I understand, Latinx is, it's not necessarily something that too many people really like hearing. I don't know who created it. I'm just going by what I'm hearing. So, the 1986 film Short Circuit, which was basically like a robot that he was an experimental robot, and he gets struck by lightning, gains human-like intelligence, and of course there's a kid. It's like all good 80s movies. Something weird happens with a kid. So it looks like they're going to remake this.
By kid, you mean with Steve Guttenberg and Ali Sheedy?
Was it a kid?
And
that's
right. Involved in Short Circuit.
Sorry.
Fisher Stevens.
Oh, sorry, man. I think I've only seen it like twice. Yeah, I'm sorry.
There's a million movies like this back then, though.
Yes,
they're all ridiculous. Yeah.
Harry and the Hendersons, E.T. Yo, man, the list goes on and on.
So, Chris, are you waiting for this? I'm gonna go enter my channel. My inner Larry King. Chris, what do you think about Short Circuit? And what do you think? Should they have Pitbull do the soundtrack if they're going to do it with Latin?
Yo, Pitbull.
Do any of you guys want to see this?
No.
I'm not in a rush. I'm not in the rush
I
to
mean,
go and see this.
they
Are
should
we getting to the point that they're just like, okay, it was in the 80s, people will watch this shit, they're just
Pretty
going to
much.
remake it?
Yeah.
Because
I mean, there shouldn't have even been a Short Circuit 2. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, real talk. Real talk. It shouldn't have been a sequel to that movie at all.
They
So
should have
make
just
a-
stopped at 1.
Guys, if they want to remake it, that's fine. But like I said, I'm not jumping out my skin to see this at all. Johnny Five is alive, but it means nothing to me.
I do not need more input.
There you go. That's right. I see what you did there.
Okay. Yep. So thank you, Mr. Rodimus76, for your submission. Oh man, the black cat comes with this. Oh, I remember seeing on Twitter this was a thing of contention.
Yes.
It looks like Right Stuff had announced they were going to do the Blu-ray Ultra Edition of Gundam Seed. And people called them out because I guess the masters they got were not the actual Blu-ray versions that were in Japan. So, to make a long story short, I guess they're rectifying the whole situation. But so it's it looks like they're from HD broadcast masters and not the remastered HD from that Japan used. So. Chris,
Well,
what do you guys say about this?
The issue, number one, this is a colossal Sunrise fuck up because Sunrise has done this kind of shit before of providing faulty materials. So the issue is this is the broadcast HD master, which presumably is compressed for TV for bandwidth purposes, but also for the Blu-ray home release. They did even more new animation compared to the broadcast version.
Oh.
So that's the big difference here.
Mm.
So, yes, they are doing the replacement program. And the good news is you can keep your faulty original version if you want.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Don't know why you'd want to, but you can. So this is obviously going to cost a pretty penny, and I hope that Right Stuff convinced Sunrise to pay for this, because this is clearly Sunrise's fuck up.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So for those who have not been playing for many years and to know about Sunrise's fuck ups, many moons ago, for instance, they provided damaged blue tinted masters of SPT Lasner to Bandai Entertainment.
Oh yeah, man.
Which resulted in Lasner never being released here on DVD, and I'm eternally sore about that.
Damn.
They also provided a non-anamorphic widescreen transfer of F91 for the original DVD release here, which made no sense because the DVD release in Region 2 was anamorphic widescreen. So that was a garbage release that wasn't rectified until the Blu-ray. So yeah, Sunrise has a history of these kind of fuck-ups.
Jesus.
Yep.
Definitely go look. Yeah, they definitely should rectify it with them, and I hope they did. So, at least I hope they're biting the cost on this, because Right Stuff, this is ultimately is not their fault, and it definitely goes further than them.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. the Black Cat, for that submission. Oh man, we got some death news, and this is recent death news, and this kind of hits home with Gundam here. It looks like voice actor Kirby Morrow recently passed away today at age 47. We would know him from as Troa. I remember him as Morocco from Inuyasha. I think he's in a lot of things. He was in Escaflowne too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was Van, right?
He was in Destiny.
Yeah.
He was in 00.
Oh, yeah,
X-Men
that's right. He was
Evolution.
Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to come back as Moroku in the new Inuyasha
spin-off
series. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Nice,
shit.
man. He's done a lot. I mean, he was in the second voice to come on to play Goku in the Canadian Dragon Ball Z dub, the Ocean dub. He was the voice of Goku in that, so a lot of Canadians are feeling that too. I don't know if he played him up to present, but I do know he played him for a good stretch in the dub for that. We got a little bit of that before this Funimation took over with their dub here in the States. but a lot of people know him from that. He was also a cast member on one of the Stargates as well. I knew he played part of the bridge crew on that too. So, yeah, man, I've seen him pop up in all sorts of shows that are filmed in Vancouver. He'd usually show up as an extra, or he'd show up as an actual bit player in a lot of shows that aired over there. So he had a very prolific career, man, in acting and voice acting. And damn, it's a shock, really. I mean, I know this year's been bad, but this guy was young as hell, and I'm not sure what the cause of it is, and we may never know. But I definitely
it doesn't say here.
I feel
it doesn't say on this article.
Friends and fans, yeah, man, it's definitely a loss. I mean, Troy will always be like the first role I ever noticed him doing. But you know, MAHQ also is definitely one.
Yeah, MAHQ too.
Yeah. Man. He was on Mikami in Death Note. That's right. He was the voice. I believe, if chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Was Mikami the guy that was the fuck up on Death Note? Was he like the young detective that like always made mistakes? I know someone in the chat could tell me whether he was or wasn't, but I think he played that guy. And the reason why it's significant is there's at the very end of the series, there's something significant that happens involving that character. So yeah, I think he was him too. But yeah, Kirby Moreau, man, fantastic voice actor, man, and he will be missed, if anything.
So, oh, and I forgot, Nilo1987 posted that. And I don't recognize that name, so I think it's probably a new poster. So thank you for that. And
Nilo's a long-time listener. He's actually in the chat watching right now. So
right,
over on YouTube.
I don't think he's posted to the news before.
Oh, fix my face. Never mind. No, wait, you might be right.
Yes. So he's kind of like first time, long time.
There you go. There you go. Well said.
Next caller, you're up.
Yeah, next caller, you're off.
Village Sheboygan, what do you got to say?
Dolores in Des Moines, how you doing? What are you calling about? Who am I? Why? What year is this? But anything else, guys, for the news? Because I did get special notification of something, Soulbro.
No worries. I'll be quick then. The Black Hat over on Twitter shares a couple links with us. One of them is there's an interesting thread discussing.
Okay.
What's that? What's up?
Go ahead.
No worries. No, there's a few tweets on Twitter to add to the news. The Black Cat.
No. Before we go to the tweets, I guess,
okay.
Yeah, see, we don't always plan everything.
My bad.
Soulbro, you got anything before the tweets? Because I got special notification.
Yes.
Of something that's been on Gundamn before.
Uh-huh.
But we haven't seen or we haven't heard in a long time. What do you think it is?
I don't know, man. Is it the Hopers and Dreamers corner?
I don't know. I just keep hearing this deathly faint sound.
Oh, stop.
Yes. You guys thought it was dead because we thought Chris would never be back on. But Chris, we open this up to you. I don't know when the last one of these happened. I'd have to say, oh man, probably at least 5 years ago. Yeah. 3 years ago. There you go. I think you carried it on that long. But yeah, Chris, we're going to give you the floor for the first and probably only Straight Talk Express of 2020. I'm sure there'll be many more in 2021, but the floor is yours.
So since Senator McCain has shuffled off the mortal coil, the Straight Talk Express is on permanent loan to me now.
He gave it to you in his will.
He did.
It rolled up to your house like, yo, what the hell is this? Oh shit!
His family was like,
how many miles per gallon? How many miles per gallon does this thing get? Are you kidding me?
You instantly regretted it.
You're like, I thank you and I'm honored, McCain family, but yeah, how many miles and it needs how many repairs?
Oh my God. Yo, shout out to Yazi. He says it's powered by MAGA tears. Oh, I'm stopping.
So, I'm gonna read something, and I'm gonna do a dramatic reading, and then at the end, I'm gonna explain what it all means.
All right.
So this one's gonna be a little bit different from usual, and there's a theme with this one. And the theme is agendas. And it relates to the Gundam Wiki, which I have criticized in the past, and is the topic of this story. But it's not so much the Gundam Wiki as it is a specific person on the Gundam Wiki. So there's an administrator on there named Bolofo who put out an article of new policies for the pages on the Gundam Wiki. So there's a section called External Links. So it says here, the only acceptable links here are Japanese/English official series websites, other official Sunrise/Bandai sites, press kits, and staff interviews. No trash in bold, trash is in bold, like MAHQ or other Japanese fan wikis.
Damn.
Oh,
Wow.
oh shit.
So that's part one. That's part one. So this is a very long
Wait,
document.
hold on, Chris. Just one moment. And
Yes.
he's an administrator for the Gundam Wiki, so he doesn't like fan wikis, but he's part of the Gundam Wiki. Rich.
Oh, the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy
is it
just
even
started.
official? I mean, do they? Is this a product or endorsed by Sunrise or Bandai
No, it is
or
not.
anything?
No.
Oh, so
None of-
I guess that would be a fan wiki.
It would, wouldn't it?
Hmm,
So anyway,
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut in there. I was.
no, but you raise a good point. So the hypocrisy abounds in this document. Criticizes the quality of the articles, and he's basically casting himself very aggressively as the savior who will fix the wiki. So then we move over to, he did a new profile for the Zai Gundam based on the movie version.
Mm-hmm.
And the talk for this page is a thing to behold because it is a huge, huge page. And I'm going to do a little dramatic reading of just one paragraph. And this is from the middle of this selection. But it's great. It's fucking great. Seriously, I'm the most capable person here to write mecha articles, and this fact didn't change just because I haven't contributed for years.
Wow.
I fucking know what I'm doing. Everything that was removed was bogus, speculation, irrelevant, copy-pasted trash. I'm going to break character and say copy-pasted trash is important. We're going to come back to that. We're not canon anymore for the HF anime. The images weren't deleted. I had even contributed whole rare line art pages for the G-Gen redesign. They just don't matter anymore for the anime. My saga for this article. I went searching for the best quality line art. Found it. Cropped and converted to .png as per wiki policy. Next, I do a decent translation of the official description instead of using machine translations as people here do. Translations and wording can always be improved anyway. I then reworked the armament listing, taking care to remove Vulcans and correctly identify the missile launchers as per line art. Then I finally corrected the misinfo that the G-Gen redesign was done by Fujita, which had been going for more than a decade, and give a correct explanation of the conception of the anime design, so we don't have to deal with bullshit trivia. There's nothing to add until the HGUC releases or some new line art appears. I literally wrote the best article possible for the anime Zai Gundam that could possibly be written today. I did it on the same night the info was released and for fucking free. So why the fuck are you complaining?
Oh, shit.
Mind you, this is paragraphs and paragraphs and then back and forth arguing. And he argues with another administrator named Kuruni, who you may recognize from the MechaTalk forums as a longtime poster and also contributor to MAHQ.
Yeah.
So Karuni says, I'll be blunt here for once. I think you have a narcissistic personality disorder. Now go ahead and do as you please. I want nothing to do with this anymore.
Oh,
To
damn.
which Bolofo says, good. No more petty opposition.
Wow. What a power trip this guy has, man. It's man, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a power trip, and it gets better.
Oh,
So
shit.
multiple times on this rant, this insane rant on the Gundam talk page, he complains about how he discovered and corrected this error, this misinformation that originated on MAHQ, which I'm not sure if that's true that I am the originator of this, that the wrong person received credit for the redesign of the Gundam and the Penelope for G Generation, which, yes, that is what it said on MAHQ. And I have confirmed with other sources that it needs to be corrected, and it did. But here's what I would say to that. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Errors happen.
Yeah.
Mistakes happen. It is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I commonly see people use errors on MAHQ as a cudgel.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, I do this fucking shit on my own and have devoted thousands of hours of my free time to this. There will be mistakes. They are not there intentionally. If it bothers you so much that there are mistakes there and you know what the correct information is, maybe tell me about it instead of just whining and bitching about it somewhere, as I so often see people do, not just this example. And also, everyone likes to give me so much shit about errors on MAHQ, but it's like, y'all are still out there buying Gundam Blu-rays that say weird English shit like danger and buying model kits that say weird shit like mass productive mobile suit and MS Encyclopedia full of all sorts of weird typos in English. So, y'all are paying for that stuff. Maybe you should focus all that energy on Bandai and Sunrise instead of coming at me.
Yeah, I mean, when it's sourced like that, when people are working on it on their own time, mistakes are going to happen. Mistakes are on Wikipedia, for Christ's sakes. So,
and mistakes are definitely on the Gundam wiki, which, as Bolofo correctly notes, is full of people who just do machine translations and just copy that shit and paste it right in there from Google Translate. Don't even bother doing the format. So,
wow.
But here's the funny thing: he goes on for paragraph after paragraph about how he wrote this amazing article about the Gundam. But if you click back to the actual article, it's 4 fucking sentences.
What? That's it?
That's it. That's the article.
Oh,
It's 4 fucking sentences.
good God.
So there's some other page that's...
And once again, Chris, those are 4 sentences on a fan page, right?
Yeah, and it's 4 sentences that are about, like, as basic as you can get about the suit. And then on another talk page, he... tells people that he's going to ban them if they don't follow his new policies that he decided on his own without consulting any of the other administrators.
Oh my
So
God.
why am I bringing all this up? Well, clearly, as you can see from what I've laid out, it's fair to say he has a vendetta against MAHQ.
Of course.
Did you ban him?
Why do you ask? Not because he's so concerned about the misinformation and errors coming from MAHQ, but here's the truth. Here's the agenda. Several years ago, I banned him from MechaTalk. You want to know why? You want to know why I banned him?
Oh, let's hear it.
Full of shit.
Because he was being an abusive asshole to people and
I
saying
knew
all
it.
sorts of horrible shit.
Uh-huh.
And every time that I told him to stop, he played dumb and made it seem like he was just trying to legitimately defend himself against their attacks, when it was clear in every single case that he was the aggressor.
Even when you had the receipts and presented it to him,
yes,
he's sitting there in denial of it. Wow.
He just, with a fucking serious face, presumably, said, that he was the victim.
Wow.
So after enough examples of him doing this and people complaining to me about him, I said, fuck this guy, and I banned him. And that was years ago, because it was during, I believe it was when Iron-Blooded Orphans Season 2 was on. So this was a couple years ago.
No, like 2016 or something like that.
Yeah, so he's been nursing a grudge against me for all these years, clearly. And, I had not given him a second of thought until someone brought to my attention that he had put out these new policies.
Man.
So for anyone who is listening, if you're tuned into the Gundam Wiki, and you know those people, you can pass along this message to Belofo on my behalf. And the message is, go fuck yourself. Because you know what? I've been doing this shit for 20 years.
20?
I've been here a long fucking time, and I've dealt with a lot worse assholes than you, and you ain't shit. You're just a pathetic joke, and somehow you bamboozled your way into being an admin for Gundam Wiki and are now on an insane power trip that I'm sure eventually will be shut down when everyone else gets tired of their shit and they kick you out. And then you really will not be shit then either. But you're definitely not shit now.
It amazes me that people, even after years pass, can't seem to grow the fuck up, right? Like,
clearly this guy is an insufferable fucking asshole, because he is just like so aggressively angry all the time, and people call him out in these talk pages for like, why are you so aggro? And he just goes off on people. Like, he's clearly he's an awful human being.
People have no
he's got serious anger issues.
Yeah, he has no self-reflection. He can't look back and say, yeah, I might have been in the wrong here, and have a little growing up to do, especially if you're in a position of power somewhere else. And for him to just still act like king shit, when he's actually practically done nothing, he's over here hijacking another person's site for the most part. It's just, it's disgusting, man. The best revenge is living well, dude, and he's not living well at all.
What's the power? You're an administrator on the Gundam Wiki. You're an administrator on a fan page.
Yeah, I know.
Which you don't own, because
which you don't own. You don't
owned by fandom.com.
Yeah. I was going to ask you if it's a fandom site. I didn't know if it was or wasn't.
Yeah, this is fandom, so they own everything. There's other admins, so I'm sure people could follow some kind of procedure to kick him. And even though I'm not a fan of the Gundam Wiki, and I would not be sad at all by its demise, even they don't deserve to have this asshole terrorizing them and banning people and, just forcing all these policies on people that he decides because he thinks that he's the hot shit. And again, spent like 20 fucking paragraphs patting himself on the back for writing 4 fucking sentences.
I thought you were going to say that he may have lifted some information from MAHQ or something like that. Like they might have plagiarized a little bit.
I'm sure that's happened.
There's plenty of things from MAHQ that are on Gundam Wiki, but that's been since the beginning of time. So that's neither here nor there. But he's just trying to use the misinformation as his cudgel to justify banning MAHQ from being linked on there, when really it's just that he's a whiny, vindictive, sad little bitch.
Yeah.
Really, really fucking sad. And, I hope he hears about this. Because what are you going to do? Are you just going to rage edit every single page to remove the MHQ links? Oh, no. What could I possibly do in response to that? I certainly couldn't, if I really was that equally vindictive, create account to put them all back. And then if you ban me, just keep putting them back. But, I actually have a life and better things to do. So I won't do that. But again, it's like, King Theoden memes, you have no power here.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. You can't do anything to me. So, have your little power trip, and pretty soon everyone's just going to laugh at you like the pathetic loser that you are. And that, my friends, is the end of the 2020 Straight Talk Express.
Oh man, that was a good one. Yeah,
Wasn't it though? Wasn't it?
It was. I did not expect this.
That must have been
Neither
very
did I.
cathartic. Neither did you. And Chris was the most surprised.
I still just find it funny that he doesn't like other fan sites, yet he works on one, or does he even really work on one? He's just part of one. I mean,
shout
or
out
he
to
would say that you get some type of compensation. What do you get? Just a higher level of authority on a wiki page. So
shout out to Yahtzee, who said up there with Codename V or Dual Gundam level trash.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Both are two names I have not heard in a long time, but like, I think this might be.
Dual Gundam
beyond-
used to be on the MAHQ on the Mecha Talk forum, wasn't he?
Yes, and so did
Yeah.
Codename V.
Yeah.
Very notorious troll who was banned from like pretty much the entire anime internet.
Wow. I think I had my own run-in with that guy, but he was under a different name. I won't say what it is, but yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
shout
he's
out-
gone.
go
He's
ahead.
gone by a couple.
Yeah,
He's gone by a couple of names. So
We've had our conversations about him.
this is definitely on the level of those clowns.
Yo, props to Dalo and Ed over on Twitch. Ed was super excited. He said that was quite a treat. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I live to serve our community.
Yeah. Yo, Yazi's correct. Yeah, Yazi said me and Sobro dealt with Dual Gundam. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, he was Captain Shark. That is exactly what. Yeah, he was, man.
Oh, yeah.
You remember Captain Shark?
Okay.
We had done a couple of commentary streams for like Gundam Wing and stuff like that, and he would show up. He was okay with us, but I always knew that things would set him off. And I was like, yo, it's not that serious. It really isn't. It's not. But other than that, yeah, that was a different time, man. Good shit.
Oh man, thank you, Chris. It's like Christmas came early. So
Yes.
It did.
It is my gift to you,
Yes.
people.
Well, I got these news tweets from the Black Cat real quick. I'll run through these real quick. The Black Cat says there's an interesting thread discussing the locations in Gundam. Includes regions of Earth where Federation Xeon occupied. It's actually a post from Mark Simmons, and he writes, "I think that the first detailed maps were published in Tokuma Shoten's Roman album extra books. This one is based on the TV series. It was published in December 1980, before the first movie compilation was released. Yellow areas of Earth are Xeon territory." And he posts up the map of the journey of just basically the way the war played out in the White Base's journey throughout the series, in space and on Earth. So that's super cool. I'd suggest that you guys check that out and follow Mark Simmons on Twitter at Toys Dream as well. And did you guys check that out? Did you guys see that at all throughout the week?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's been a long time since he's talked about Gundam, so it was a welcome surprise to see.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's always good to see Mark post stuff. His birthday just passed recently, so happy birthday, Mark Simmons, as well. And he's a previous guest on the show a long time ago, but
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
was, man.
Yeah,
It
I
was super
forgot
cool,
about
man. It
that.
was good to talk to him back then. And next up, the Black Cat also posts that the Getter Robo Arc manga gets an anime in 2021. So the news is over on Anime News Network if you guys want to check it out. But if you guys are reading that, I know you guys are super excited. I know Fred is excited about that as well.
Oh my God, Fred's Twitter feed going crazy about that. I mean, he stopped posting pictures of charred meat and beer for Getter Robo. I was like, wait a second, is this guy not eating? Because normally he's just going to show, I have a 52-ounce porterhouse here that I just charred the shit out of.
Yes. If it ain't about cigars, beer, or fucking
meat,
cooking meat, then it's about super robots and Godzilla. So
he is like, what is he? North Carolina Ron Swanson?
Oh, yes.
He's pretty much that. I mean,
he's working towards that. He's working towards that status. North Carolina,
but Fred, we need to do a viewing one night of the Dale Earnhardt movie.
You guys talked about him. I remember the last time we were all out together.
Oh man,
Ridiculous. last but not
Anything
least,
else, bro? Because
one last, we gotta
do
get
need
quick
to
in.
talk about the king author of
Yes,
shows.
yes, we do. Last but not least, we already talked about this, so I'm done. He just mentions about
Okay.
the big I guess presentation they did for Hathaway's Flash, which I have yet to see, and of course the trailer that aired. So if anything, that is also up on.
Hopefully, you don't have
YouTube.
epilepsy.
Indeed.
So-
And hey, speaking of Hathaway's Flash,
Mm-hmm.
make sure to check out that banging Gundam article on Gundam Wiki, which is gundam.fandom.com. It's a real treat.
Yo,
there you
the
go.
tongue in cheek, I'm hearing. Yes.
Four sentences that will rock your world.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's wild.
The 4 most impactful sentences that you surely will read today in this year of 2020. Nothing else going on in the world will compare to what's in those 4 sentences on that Gundam profile.
Wow. Can't wait. Can't wait. I know what I'm doing this weekend. Reading those 4 sentences.
Over and over.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's talk about season 1 of Star Trek Lower Decks, which shows up on the old CBS Access app. Which, word to you, CBS Access, CBS Viacom, whatever you are at this point.
Oh.
You know,
in January, Paramount Plus.
Yeah, Paramount Plus, whatever you are now. You know, talk to your other streaming platforms, and you know it's okay to have a skip recap or skip the intro option on there.
That is true.
that would be kind of nice. I mean, you know, step into 2018, I guess. So, but I think the best thing is Solbro. Can you give us a brief synopsis of this show?
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll talk about our highlights, lowlights, because this is your show. You are Solbro Lower Decks.
Solbro. I'll make it quick and dirty, but yeah, man, I could definitely do this.
There you go.
Star Trek Lower Decks. It's the second animated series that has been produced for Star Trek. The first one being the animated series back in the 70s, which works as kind of a follow-up to the original series. In this one, this takes place shortly after Star Trek Nemesis, and it takes place in the year 2380. We get familiar with a quartet of individuals who are lower ranked, and they are part of the crew of the USS Cerritos, which is a ship that specializes for the Federation. It specializes in second contact and other kind of let's just say low level duties. They're pretty
Administrative
much
duties.
administrative duties.
That's right.
Yeah, they deal with all the bureaucracy and stuff that Starfleet likes to forget they need to do after they make first contact. So they got to clean up a lot of messes. And so we get to know 4 characters. The first of which is Brad Boimler, who is kind of this he's kind of a stickler for the rules. Young guy, just out of Starfleet.
Not Brad Boimler, Bradward Boimler.
Bradward Boimler. We're going to give his whole government Bradward Boimler, Brad for short.
It's Federation.
He is an ensign in the command I guess the command tier of the different roles you play on the ship, and his partner in crime is Mariner Beckett. Beckett Mariner. I always want to say it the opposite way, but Beckett Mariner, who is also an ensign on the ship. They do hint that she used to be much higher in rank, but something happened along the lines where she just got a little disenchanted with being higher up in rank and worked towards getting herself busted down back to ensign. She and Brad have been on the Cerritos for a year, and I guess that's where they met as well. But she's been in Starfleet for a little bit longer. Then we have our boy Sam Rutherford, Samanthan, I guess is how his full name is. And he's a cyborg human. He's got cybernetic Vulcan parts. Basically on his attached to his brain and on his face. He's got a artificial eye and a computer brain connected to his organic brain, and he's a very excited. He's excited to be there, man. He loves working on the mundane shit that engineering works on, and he just is very good, but also very let's just say he's kind of a mad scientist with the things he throws together when it comes to his experiments and the projects he's working on. But a really fun character. And then we have the newbie who just graduated from Starfleet Academy and is starting her career on the Cerritos, her first ship, and that is Devana Tendi. And she is an Orion. And we've seen few instances of Orions being in Starfleet, like in the J.J. Abrams movie, and I think there's another instance, but I can't remember. But she is she's joined Starfleet recently, and she's trying to buck the trend of stereotypes that that her people have been seen as slavers and slaves and just all the crime that they're involved in. She has been on this
and sex work and
sex work.
Pretty
I
much.
think Tendi is the most clothed female Orion we've ever seen in Star Trek.
Yes,
Probably.
I mean, the most we saw her with showing skin was in episode 9, but I'm sure we'll get to that because that's a long conversation by itself. But those are the main 4, and then you've got the bridge crew. We get to know them too. You've got, of course, Captain Freeman, Captain Carol Freeman, who's fantastic. One of my favorite characters in the series. She runs the Cerritos. She's a bit egotistical, but she's definitely competent. And she's fed up with how Starfleet has treated their ship and having to do all the kind of odds and ends work that they've been doing. She wants their ship to be taken more seriously. You've got Jack Ransom, who is the kind of brown-nosing first officer, who's kind of a combination between Kirk and Riker, but it lacks the smoothness of either.
Yeah.
But he's funny as hell. You also have Security Chief Shax, who is probably one of my other favorite characters in this series. He's a Bajoran. He's
Very angry Bajoran.
very angry.
He just wants to
Bajoran.
kill everything. Yeah.
And, a fun fact: he's voiced by Fred Tatasciore, who's the voice of the Hulk. Every time he opens his mouth, it's like, "Yo, that's the Hulk, son." He's the voice of the Hulk in a lot of the cartoons for Marvel, but Tatasciore is a vocal god. He's you hear his voice throughout the show as many characters, but he does an incredible job as Shax. And then you have Dr. Tana.
Tiana.
Dr. Tana,
Yeah.
who is significant.
Tiana.
Tiana?
Is it Tana? I don't, whatever.
It's T apostrophe A-N-A, Ta'ana. That's what I am seeing here. But she's significant because she's a Caitian, and Caitians haven't been seen since the original animated series for Star Trek. Not that I know of. Have you guys seen Caitians in any
There was
live
one
action?
that popped up in a background scene in Star Trek 4.
Oh, wow. Dig it, man. I had no idea. I probably missed that. I'm sure I did. She is a cranky... She's kind of like a cross... No, she's kind of like a cat version of
She's a
what's
cat
that?
version of no.
McCoy.
She's a cat version of Pulaski,
Yes, Dr. And they call her Dr.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
which is why a lot of fans call her Perlasky.
Perlasky, yeah. Yeah. she's fantastic. She curses all the time. She's cranky. I'd say she's like McCoy and Pulaski put together, but more Pulaski than McCoy. But she's definitely a fun character, and the Caitians we initially saw in the animated series back in the 70s. There was one on the bridge of the Enterprise as well, so it was cool to see one that's not as, they say, sultry.
AKA cosplaying Nichelle Nichols,
Yes,
because she was playing literally the same character. It's like, this is Cat Uhura, and you need to speak with like a sexy cat voice. They basically the exact same lines as Uhura.
that's ridiculous.
It makes no damn sense.
It is so wild. But
Marissa-
yeah.
Was it a money issue back then?
Oh yes, it was a money issue. Like
Yeah.
pretty much all of the male guest stars in the original series were voiced by James Doohan with various levels of convincibility.
Well,
And most of the female guest characters were voiced by Nichelle Nichols. Or sometimes Majel Barrett with
Yes.
various levels of convincibility. And if you want to know more about that, way back in 2011, in one of the earliest episodes of Chaos Theater,
yes,
Pedro and Sobro and I discussed the animated series.
we did, man. Yo, that was a long. Wow.
Yeah.
It feels like yesterday.
Almost 10
but-
years ago. It was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, man, we definitely we had a blast in that episode too. So if you guys want to run through the archives of Chaos Theater and check out that review, that is definitely up there, or any of the other Star Trek reviews that have been done. Neil, you've been on a few too, if I recall, as well. So
Go check it out on the Internet Archive. Just look up MHQ or Chaos Theater, and you can find every single episode of Chaos Theater, and even Laplace's box, which I put up a little while ago.
Wow.
Man, damn, yo, the run back the memories, man.
Yeah.
Who knows? They might drop a special someday. Who knows? Don't say you
Never
heard that
know.
from me. You never heard that from me. But yeah, to make a long story short, the show appears to be kind of adventure of the week. And a lot of times there's ties to previous episodes of Star Trek in these episodes as well.
Lot.
Yeah, a
A lot of times, most of the time.
and sometimes they're homages, but if anything, I'm sure we'll get into the details as we go along, but eventually they all build up to a finale.
Well, there's whole episodes just based on something from Star Trek.
Yeah. some of them are just parody stuff from Star Trek too, but ultimately it all leads up to a very serious crisis that takes place when the Cerritos runs into a long forgotten race of aliens that for the most part are a much bigger threat now than they were, and it hammers home the point that they've been making throughout this entire series, that second contact is important, and staying up on your relations to other alien races that you're making contact with is paramount, pun intended. But if anything, we'll get into those details. But I will turn it back over to I'll turn it over to Chris. Chris, what were your thoughts on Star Trek Lower Decks? Or at least positive thoughts. Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of background on Lower Decks. So
Yeah.
it was created by Mike McMahon, who I was quite familiar with because he used to write this hilarious Twitter account called TNG Season 8.
Yes.
Which, if you haven't followed it, is also collected as a book that you can get on Amazon or in stores. So the concept of TNG Season 8 was that it was tweet-sized summaries of episodes if Next Generation had an 8th season. But it was all ridiculous stuff like, a transporter accident with a dinosaur turns Riker into the sexy and dangerous Velociriker. That's one of the classics. And then Mike McMahon went on to be a writer on Rick and Morty, which you can definitely see the DNA of in this show, because especially in the pilot, you have Beckett being very much this high energy, frantic character like Rick, and you have Boimler filling the total wet blanket stick in the mud role of Morty.
Yeah, two-hander is almost the same.
And in that first episode, it just seemed like a bit too much for me.
Yep.
Like Mariner was just a bit too Rick, and Boimler was a bit too Morty.
Mm-hmm.
But over subsequent episodes, as their relationship developed, and that stuff kind of like chilled out a bit, I got more into their whole thing, and you definitely see an arc to their friendship develop across the season as Beckett realizing, why it is that she has the problems that she does, which is that, she's dedicated to the mission of Starfleet, but she really feels constrained by the endless, pointless bureaucracy of Starfleet.
Yeah.
And you think that Boimler starts to chill out just a little bit and maybe learns to be happy where he is, but then he goes and does what he does in the season finale. So, maybe he didn't have as much development as I had initially thought going through the season. Mm-hmm. But, I think it's fun to see the perspective of these lower deckers because, the concept was inspired, as you all might recall, by a Next Generation episode that was literally called The Lower Decks. And it was about low-ranked officers
On the Enterprise.
On the Enterprise D, who are not in the loop. They're not part of the bridge crew. They don't know what's going on. Suddenly it's like, oh, hey, there's a red alert. Where are we? What are we doing? We don't know. We're not part of the bridge crew. So it's an interesting perspective to see, because so often every Star Trek show is about the most important people, which is the bridge crew. And, you know, never has the question been asked in Star Trek, but that you've always wondered in Next Generation, and that is, who mops the jizz off of the holodeck floor?
Dude. The
Now
real
we know.
conversations in this show are the best. That was one of
Now,
them. Woo.
now we know.
Yeah, man.
It is somebody's job, and you'd think that'd be automated, but I guess not.
I guess not.
And the fact that they said, like, is that what everybody uses it for? They're like, yeah, are you surprised? Like,
we know what we know what Barclay was using it for on
boy.
the Enterprise.
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Freaking gross.
And we know what Janeway was using it for on Voyager after getting lonely for a couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is she getting with Da Vinci?
But not banging Chakotay.
Yo,
Yeah.
So, yeah, we all know what was going on in Quark's holosuites.
woo.
Oh,
They didn't
Yeah.
try to hide that at all.
yeah. The Dabo girls, they had double duty. Those Dabo girls.
Nah, that was probably Nog's job.
Oh,
Probably. Yeah.
Nog wanted to get the hell out of there and join Starfleet. Yo.
That would be the most like Kevin Smith story ever.
Yes.
Like, Nog, why? Like Commander Sisko's like, Nog, I'm gonna write this recommendation letter. I need to know, why do you want to join Starfleet?
Yes.
I'm tired of bumping the jizz.
Tired of my.
Yo. Ooh. That'd be motivation for anyone. That's for sure.
That's why he
kind
was
of
so
story I
willing to
want.
lose a leg in the Dominion War. He's like,
They clean up
Yeah.
the
it's like, I don't care. I can face 1,000 Klingons and stuff or whatever. Lose my leg and Jemadar, and it's like, I don't want to go back to.
Look,
I don't want
man.
to go back to Quark's place.
Look,
Not
let's
to
be
his
real,
hollow
like-
suites.
you know, maybe not all of that alien jizz is, you know, as harmless as human stuff. Like,
Correct.
Hey,
Yeah.
yo, Nog earned it, and he recently got a ship named after him on Discovery. So, yo, props.
sure did.
Props to Nog, man. The Eisenberg class, named after the actor Aaron Eisenberg, man. Yo, that's so cool when that happened. Yo, shout out to Zaljan for reminding me of that. But yeah, Nog just recently got a huge nod in Star Trek Discovery. So that's what's up.
So anyway, you know, it's nice to see the perspective of the non-important people, but you also see the important people from a different light of, you know, how egotistical they
Ridiculous,
could
yeah.
be, as Sobro mentioned, like Captain
Yes.
Freeman,
Oh boy.
and Ransom being, you know, just like a half-baked Riker Kirk melding. Shax's always being incredibly angry, and basically just like, I mean, he's functionally not that different from Worf, who like always wanted to respond to everything by shooting at it, and Picard was always like, "No, Mr. Worf."
I think the episode where they are, I forget what aliens they were, but remember they're at the there's like a debris field from some old Starfleet ships,
Yeah.
and they're going against this enemy, and they don't have any weapons, but they start using their tractor beam throwing
Throw stuff at
debris
Doritos.
at their, and they use their Shax. He's like, can I fire? Can I target the warp core? And at one point, he's like, I've been good this week.
He always wants to target the warp cores.
He always wanted to target the warp core, or though I forget what there was one episode. Oh, it was, I forget which one it was, where he's doing he has his own personal log. He's like, I suggested we do a full frontal assault, but I was overruled.
Was overruled.
I think it was was it the crystal people? Was it that one where they brought the wood instead of the crystal?
Yeah.
So, my headcanon for why Shax is so insane and has that scar over his eye is, so it's 2380.
Yeah.
So probably 20 or 25 years before this, he, I'm assuming, was like a Bajoran freedom fighter, probably
Imagining.
just down there in the trenches, just like Kira and everything.
Yep.
And he probably saw some shit.
He probably did. That's my
He
headcanon
probably has ripped the spines out of a few cardies and shown them what's what and who's who.
Yeah.
And I think he's also significant because I can't recall too many Bajorans that joined Starfleet. There's Ensign Rowe and there's him, and there might have been maybe another
There
one.
were more after that, including even in the Next Generation Lower Decks episode. One of the characters was Ensign Sito, who was a Bajoran who had previously shown up in the episode where Wesley at the Academy covered up a death. She was on his little squad along with totally not Tom Paris, played by Robert Duncan McNeil.
Right, yeah, it was Robert Duncan McNeil's first entry into Star Trek. That's too funny.
So yeah, by the time where we are in Star Trek, it is common to see Bajorans in Starfleet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Shax is not that unusual, but that's my headcanon, that he did a lot of shit during the Cardassian occupation.
Oh, he's definitely got PTSD.
He has like layers of PTSD upon PTSD.
Right on.
And he feels that the only way to do anything in a hostile situation is just to blow stuff up.
Warp course.
Yeah, shoot warp. Oh man.
Any other initial thoughts, Chris?
Some of the references, like they just like, some of them are a little bit of a reach. Like, you're just throwing this out here for the hell of it, and some of them work great. But I feel that the strength of this show is that it manages to be funny on its own, and it's not using all of the references as a crutch, like say in a kind of Ready Player One sort of way.
Yeah. I agree with that, especially as the series progresses along. They find more clever ways to write the scripts because they fall on the strength of the characters in the show, and they allow the characters to kind of take center stage. And then when they put in a reference to something that actually has more to do with the story, as the episodes progress, than it is just to say something. Because if you look at the first episode, they say a lot of references to a lot of things from Star Trek just to get it in. One of those
like
reasons
they just
was
throw in like randomly like Gary Mitchell. It's like that's like, you shouldn't even know who Gary Mitchell is because like Kirk covered all that shit up and lied about it. So how the hell do you know about Gary Mitchell?
Wait, in all truth, they let Tawny Newsome riff, and she did like a monologue basically where she just rambled off Star Trek references and whatnot, and they put it into the episode. So that's actually where that comes from. But yeah, they got better about it as the season progressed, I gotta say. And
even though probably one of their better episodes is the one based on it's a Star Trek, comic concept. The one about buffer time.
Oh, one of my
favorites. Because I mean, that's all Scotty.
Yes.
Like, it's all that thing with Scotty is like, Mr. Scott, do you always just pad your things by 4? It's like, yeah, how do you expect to be a miracle worker? And when they talk about that, I'm like, and they put it in such a comical way because they're like, really they talk about the mundaneness of these missions. I mean, for most of the time, they're just traveling through space and they're just doing these they're like chores. I mean, and it's like, okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to get this all done to do what? The next stupid thing? No, I'm just going to sit there and put buffer time on there and we'll have margaritas. Nobody's going to know.
And what? In all truth, that's a thing in the military as well. Not to give away too much, but that's something that actually happens in the military. So if anything, it's fun because the first thing that came to my mind was the whole Scotty conversation with Jordan in Next Gen. It's like, oh my god, this is it. This is exactly it. But Chris, you were saying?
I thought one of the most Star Trek things that they just made fun of so well was when Boimler got a girlfriend, and it's like, you're in a Starfleet romance and you don't think that it's doomed, and it's like she's so convinced that Boimler's girlfriend is an alien who's gonna like eat his brains or whatever, and they flip it on its head by it turning out to be that he had a fucking parasite slug attached to him that made him more attractive than he otherwise would have been, and that's how he got a girlfriend. And as soon as the slug was off of him, the girlfriend wasn't interested anymore.
Yeah, she left. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Starfleet romances are always doomed, and it's always things like alien imposters or weird shit, and they set that up perfectly.
The fact too that they bring up the whole thing of like, you know, there's a lot of ships and there's a lot of things going on, but it's like, what does it even matter? Like, they don't get any of the recognition. I mean, you kind of feel for Captain Freeman. It's like, you're in charge. It's like, okay, so somebody gets all the credit for first contact, gets all the accolades, but they don't have to do anything. They just send you in later to negotiate and do all this other stuff, which really isn't that exciting. I mean, I think that's the other good thing about it is they bring up like the mundaneness of
being in Starfleet.
Like having to go back to a planet that Kirk was at 100 years before and telling people not to worship a computer.
Like there was no progression with those people at all, and they didn't try to shepherd those people at all. You know, those old scientists.
Yeah, they hit that. And they hit that a couple of times too. The fact that like as idealistic as they show Starfleet, it's really kind of they really drop the ball on everything. It's like they just go out and make contact, and they're like, and they'll do something, and then they never come back. Yeah, I mean the fact that they had the sticky notes on the lander of the computer.
Yes.
Don't worship.
Well, the fact that Starfleet, and this is a reflection on the fact that this is like a show that takes place in the Prime universe and has to logically fit. The fact that Starfleet does stuff and doesn't follow up, that's how you end up with ridiculous things in Next Generation, like the rape planet that Tasha comes from.
Yeah, that's right. That's
the fact that it was a human colony that just decided to go all Mad Max and become the rape planet, and literally nobody at Starfleet ever bothered to be like, maybe we should investigate this colony. Like, why'd they go all Mad Max and become the rape planet?
Yeah, well, and it also gives you the whole thing of one of their best movies, Wrath of Khan. Like,
I was just about to say.
Dropped Khan off. Yep. They knew what Khan was.
They never followed up.
Nobody ever went back.
Nope.
And things got so messed up.
It's like, hey Kirk, did you ever file a report that you left a dangerous genetically engineered warlord just chilling on some backwater planet, and like maybe put like a fucking buoy in orbit, like do not approach this planet. There is a bad dude down there. Like,
or the fact that one of the planets blows up, knocks his. It's like even their star charts are bad. It's like one of the other planets blows up, knocks it into a different orbit.
Noticed.
They think it's actually, what is it, Ceti Alpha 4
Ceti Alpha 6.
Or Ceti Alpha 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it goes on all that stuff.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the series, is that it actually calls out Star Trek on a lot of shit, especially with the first directive. And the pitfalls of that, man.
The Prime Directive?
Yeah, the Prime Directive. Fix my face. The Prime Directive got called into question in several episodes, but my favorite time was when Mariner was on that planet with the lizard people and the rat people, which is a throwback to a Next Gen episode, if I recall correctly, where the rat people ate the lizard people, and she called for an insurrection there, for the people to rise up and whatnot, and then the Captain Freeman had to come down and put a kibosh on that shit. But they answered the question as well with that, like, why didn't the Enterprise D, when they dealt with them, give them replicators? And so people who watched that episode asked that question like way back then, so that way it would fix their food crisis. But that's what Captain Freeman offers.
Also, the fact that Next Gen episode, which was from season 1, it was a horrible episode.
Yeah,
that wasn't even about that. That was just like the B story.
Yeah, it was.
And
it was the cold open.
One of the many appearances of Cole Meany as like nameless nobody pre O'Brien.
That's right.
the fact that one of the ambassadors eating one of the other ambassadors was just like played as a joke.
Yeah.
Like there was a fucking person of a sentient species who got eaten by another person, and they played it as a joke. Like that is just so fucked up on so many levels.
Yeah, Next Gen has some work to do. First season.
Sure did.
Yikes.
Don't get me started on Code of Honor.
Oof. It's fucking. That's another. That episode hurts. But yeah, when it comes down to it, the show is not afraid to call Star Trek out in general. And a lot of people I saw online did not like that at all. They were mad at the show for doing that. But it's like, yeah, you can call things into question. Why don't you? And it is good that this show has satire in it in order to be able to kind of address those issues.
Well, I can always
at modern Star Trek for existing. That like whatever.
And I can say that but it's always what we've always been asking. Like I can remember the first time watching Wrath of Khan, I'm like, didn't they realize that this guy was still there? Like he was so dangerous, and they never kept track of it. It's like 15 years later, he's causing problems, stealing starships, and wanting to get their most valuable thing. Exactly. I mean, their technology. It's like, oh my god. So it's calling up all the plot holes and just like kind of stupid stuff that they've done at times, and calling out some of the hypocrisy, which is funny. I mean,
which is great. It shows that it's not afraid to go there, and the show's it's clever enough to write itself out of a corner too, especially when dealing with things like that, because it's just nice to see them addressed after all these years, and to see people run back to that. Well, I think one of the coolest moments to me was in that last episode of the seasons where they opened up with that cold open. With Landru, and where you had Mariner and Boimler there giving out creative supplies to the kids, because those people lack creativity and they lack the desire to kind of move forward and be better people. So I always thought that was a very nice moment, and it just goes to show a bit of Mariner's character I do like, which is she takes investment in the places that she goes to. Even in the first episode, she meets up with those farmers and gives them farm equipment, and Boimler thinks he's doing his job being a narc, but then finds out he's kind of in the wrong for doing that. But he's
such a kiss ass through the whole thing.
He is.
Like that's the thing. It's like every time you warm up to that character, he's still just such a sniveling. Like the one where they promoted Mariner because they were like trying to teach her a lesson, and they promoted. He's like, "What did you do?" She's you don't do anything, and then he's so dense that during when they actually have a serious event, he walks up and throws coffee in Ransom's lap.
He's trying to be the bad boy and see if that's going to get him promoted. But it's like, you got the wrong idea.
Dumb.
Of course, he didn't have any idea why they promoted her, which is something I neglected to mention. Ensign Mariner is also the daughter of Captain Freeman, which is a secret to everybody else in the crew until the second to last episode, where Boimler finds out.
So whose name is she using? Whose last name is she using?
That is a big question, and there's actually a big mystery behind her too. But I'll get into that later. But
we've seen her dad, who is an admiral. So
she could have her father's last name. Yeah, we don't. They haven't named that character yet, but I'm sure we'll see him in season 2. He was all I know is he was voiced by Phil Lamar. That's it. They call him the Dadmiral right now, but that's just, of course, a nickname until he has a proper name. But yeah, if anything, I'm assuming that that Captain Freeman didn't change her last name when she got married, and Mariner has her father's last name, which is kind of weird because you figure that people would know Mariner.
Admiral Mariner,
Admiral Mariner, and make the connection, but because that's not a common last name. But oh well. There's people maybe not even know who the captain is married to at this point. So I guess we'll find out more in season 2 about that.
I gotta say too, that episode where they have all the freaks that
Ooh, yeah,
they have the ship that comes when Boimler he gets in that phasing issue where he's like he's the transporter thing where he's like he's see-through, basically. He's basically stuck in phasing, and the ship of freaks, like the ship of misfit toys, comes up. And you have like all the crazy things you've seen in Starfleet or Star Trek, including the salamander. Is that Chris? Is that Janeway and Paris's kid?
You never know.
Dude, there were multiple of them at the farm when they got there. The one they brought there was in company of I think another one, but when they showed like the lay of the land there, it was crazy, man. That was Much Ado About Boimler, episode 7, and that episode was so ridiculous. That dog was practically the Thing.
Oh.
a nice version of the Thing. Wow.
And another shout out to the animated series, because the creepy administrator of that ship was the same species as Lieutenant Eric's from the
he was.
Yep, sure
the animated series.
Yeah,
It was only the
I know
second
you're talking.
time
he was
that species disappeared.
He was like he was the stand-in for Chekhov, wasn't he?
Yeah, pretty much.
In the animated series, he was like the navigator, right?
Yeah,
because Walter Koenig was not in the animated series.
Right. Yeah,
because of the cheapo budget.
Yeah. Man. But what were you guys? Do you guys have any like favorite episodes of the show, or like what were the? Yeah, I'll go with that. What was your like favorite episode of the show besides the finale?
I love the episode with Badgie because it's just such a great send up of Clippy.
Yes.
Microsoft Office, but just made murderous because Star Trek holodeck malfunctions.
Yes, I mean it was like Clippy cross with Moriarty.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's my favorite episode, but I loved in the episode where the away team got captured and Ransom had to do a shirtless fight against this big beefy alien.
Yeah, that's one of mine too.
The whole fight just going insane with the double axe handles.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's constant stream of them. It's like he put his sword down and just started hitting this man everywhere with double axe handles.
And then and Mariner was having the crisis because she's like, "Look away! Oh my God, that looks hot! Look away! I can't be into that."
The best thing she said is, "He's so ethical."
The Invicta episode was also crazy and fun and weird.
Boy, they ripped the movie hard body.
They sure did.
They did. From the lens flares, I know Neo was dying.
And the warp effect from the Kelvin movies.
Oh yeah.
Not only that,
what about is that the one where they
rainbow
take the
trails
extra long shuttlecraft ride around the Cerritos?
Yes, the
Well,
Starship
that's making
porn.
fun of the original movie, yeah.
Yeah,
They just sit there. Oh my God, it's so beautiful.
I actually once timed that scene. It's 6 fucking minutes.
Is it really?
It really is.
I saw an
It is
interview.
6 minutes.
I saw an interview with Mike McMahon who said he was trying to get that scene to be longer in the show. He said they were trying to. They said the budget wouldn't call for it, but he tried. They got as long as they did, but he did reference that the original scene was super long, and he wanted to make it very long too in the in episode 9 too. So yeah,
I don't know. They sat there and they looked at that thing long. They
did.
They looked at parts of the Cerritos you never thought you would want to see, and. Look at the ends of the warp core or the warp nacelles. Oh my God! It's
my man Billups was crying. Yo, shout out to Billups. Yeah. He's basically the Jerry. He's the Jerry of this show. People shit on him all the time. Yo, poor Andy Billups. He's definitely a competent.
That's kind of my. That's. I guess we could start with that. That was my thought of Soul Bros, man. Was Billups because he's kind of the guy they always tell to shut up, and he just shows up.
But Billups is competent, though. He's actually
that's true. He is competent,
man.
Well,
like
I can reveal that was not my Soul Bros man.
Who's your Soul Bros man then?
Fletcher.
Oh yeah.
You hurt me. Yo, Yo, fired ass Fletcher. Yo, they sent him to the Titan. He ain't even wearing the Titan uniform, and he gets fired in a week. Oh my God, the guy who did his voice though was hilarious though. Don't talk about my dad.
The fact that he created that whole thing just because he got bored and sick of doing what do you say? The work was too hard. He goes, I realized it was too hard.
he tried to do. I think what Data or somebody else did it. Oh no, it was oh, what's his name?
Oh, he's trying to be cool so they could go to the Choo-Choo show.
No, he tried to do a Barclay and hook himself to a computer, like Barclay hooked himself to the holodeck or something in Next Gen, and it went miserably for him. He created a monster basically. But yeah, man. So you think it's you think it's Fletcher, and Neo thinks it's Billups. Neither of you guys think it's what's his name, Boimler at all?
Too obvious, and also like he's one of the main characters, not some like random
jobber
joke.
He's also competent in the clutch too, like towards the end of the series when he's working with
Fletcher. Clearly is not.
Yeah. I forgot about Fletcher. But
Fletcher is clearly the opposite of competence. Otherwise, none of what happened would have happened.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, I'm trying to remember who when I was doing the commentary, what the chat was saying. Maybe Yazi can let me know. But if I was to say a favorite episode of mine, I would probably go with the trial episode. That shit was so insane. It was a great way of like just squeezing in a lot of stuff, but having it form a story and seeing from different perspectives of the different characters. Plus, it's always a pleasure to have Kurtwood Smith come back to do a character in Star Trek, because he's done several in movies and episodes of the TV show. So for him to do that that one alien that they rescued, and for him to try to praise the Cerritos crew, but it looked like a trial throughout it. And my favorite part of that episode is the very end, where Mariner is pissed because they dunked him in that vat of eels and with burners, and she's asking, "Why did you do that to us? If this is supposed to be some kind of celebration, why would you say it's the eel pit of death?" And drop us in that vat of eels, and they're arguing before it cuts off. It's genius. But another great part of that episode was with Rutherford, where he was constantly having to update his implant, and he would black out, and of course it would take over like Upgrade, and he would wake up in some kind of precarious situation, especially the Gorn wedding. Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Gorn wedding.
Gorn wedding. Yo,
is that the same? Is that the same one where he was trying to get his mode right too?
No, that was the final episode of the season when he found that.
Oh, when he was trying to get his mode right.
Yeah.
I actually would like the episode where he's trying to figure out if he could do something else, and he ends up getting in security, and they're all like, "Oh, this is so great! You're in security." He's like, "You know what? I really just want to be an engineering." But it's so they're like, "Oh no, you do what you want. That's great." It's funny because they just make fun of like, even though he doesn't like something, everybody's so understanding.
Yeah, from the very beginning when Billups said, "What did you say?" "Oh, I applaud your decision. You go out there and you find your purpose." But that cool shit.
And you find out the doctors don't do anything. Yeah. All they're there is just to sit there and talk to the patients so they don't freak out while the machines are working on them.
One of my favorite exchanges is when he's talking to that one Bajoran engineer, and he says, "Oh my God, you got warp core burns? How are you still alive, man?"
Yeah.
Yo, that shit
what do you mean? I'm gonna die.
It's so good. But there's actually a pretty big Easter egg in that episode when he activates his cybernetics and it automatically fights for him. They take that shit straight out of that movie Upgrade. It's so awesome, including the scene where he's on the ground and then he pushes himself up and the camera turns. That's straight out of that movie. So that's it's really cool. They had a big nod to that film in that episode. They don't not only do Easter eggs from Star Trek, but there's a lot of Easter eggs to movies in general in this show. You still have to look for them, but you'll find them. But yeah, man. The trial episode.
Any downsides?
Downsides?
Any downsides, Chris? You have anything that you mentioned? I guess the first episode, but it seems like
the first episode was a little off in terms of establishing the tone.
Yeah.
Also, the Ship of Freaks storyline just didn't quite work for me. It was just kind of a misfire. Like it just felt weird. Like, why would it take this ship so long to travel around with these people to get into the thing? And it actually is what they were promised. It just felt like they stretched the concept for the sake of the jokes, and it just didn't work that well.
Yeah, it probably should have been part of another episode, another storyline. So.
And this didn't bother me, but I have seen a lot of people make the criticism that it seems a little odd that the season finale of 2 totally different Star Trek shows in 2020 relied on Riker showing up at the last minute to save the day.
Yeah.
We might as well talk about that.
When I saw that happen, I thought the same thing. I'm like, it didn't bother me, but I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But I do like the way they have Riker in this, where basically he's still kind of crazy, and
he's there to basically
he's gonna get a tongue lashing from Troy later.
So I think that Riker's appearance in Lower Decks was just perfect because, for one, we actually got to see the Titan in canon, and they ended up making it exactly the same as the one from the novels.
That's correct, man.
Exact same design.
There was a couple differences in the bridge crew, though. Like, I guess he has Riker has a female first officer, and she wasn't there. And then Tuvok also, I guess, shows up in the novels later, right?
Tuvok was in like a Las Vegas filmed experience along with Wesley Crusher, so who knows? It doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
But the point is, we got to see the ship, and it's the exact same ship, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's fun to see like Riker just being a total weirdo now that he's not under Picard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he's just cutting loose in a way that Picard would never have allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm the captain.
And he's cutting loose in the way that you knew he would expect to be.
Yeah. I also
just know that it's because of Picard that he didn't just go off loose cannon even more.
Yeah, his rescue of the Cerritos was, I think, better than his rescue of Picard in Star Trek Picard. So it was definitely far more. It just played out a little bit better.
And I like the idea of him being Mariner's source of contraband and weird shit.
Yes, which we should have known. And we found out that apparently she studied under Riker at one point. So I'm not sure when that happened, but we'll probably get backstory in season 2. Which I guess he's there to set up season 2 because they confirmed that Jonathan Frakes is going to be coming back to reprise his role in some of the episodes in season 2 too, and we got to see how Boimler, what happens to his character now that he's on the Titan. But
he's going to get kicked off. You know that.
I
get kicked off somewhere.
I
or something
hope
like
that he decides to go back to the Cerritos because I think that's a much better storyline because he got his dream gig. Maybe there's something about him missing his original.
Well, he's got to see that the grass ain't always greener on the other
side. That's exactly what it's going to be.
I don't want to see him get demoted because he's a lieutenant junior grade now, which is still worthy of the lower decks, so he can still go back with the same rank. And I just want him to go back on his own volition, and it's something that I think Riker would understand too, because he didn't leave the Enterprise for years. He loved it there, and so when you love a ship, man, you don't want to leave it. So I hope it comes to that, and if he does go back. So
I was actually surprised with the season finale that
yes, I wanted to
even
talk
though
about that.
it was the fucking Packlids, that it literally got deadly serious with the crew of the Solvang all being killed.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And Shaxx sacrificing himself to save Rutherford. Was not expecting that.
Yeah, I know.
I
wasn't expecting Shaxx
we're
to
switching
die.
to normal Star Trek now.
Yeah, it is, which is crazy. What was the captain's name? Captain Dayton of the Solvang, and previously I forget the one she was the captain of before that one was destroyed by
Rubidoux, I think.
Yeah, Rubidoux, which is it was destroyed by the same kind of alien that was in the opening pilot of Next Gen. The energy being or whatever, it's the same type.
It's space jellyfish.
Space jellyfish, yeah, man, it's super crazy. But she looked a lot like Lucille Ball to me. I don't know if that's just me looking at her, but I know Lucille Ball is there's a lot to thank her for for Star Trek in general, so it makes me wonder if they designed that character after her or not.
be.
But every time I look at Captain Dayton, she looks a shit ton like Lucille Ball. And my favorite moment with her is when she was telling people to take off their shoes on the bridge because that shit was brand new.
She didn't even
fixing
want
the plastic.
the plastic peeled off with the display on the captain's chair.
She was like the jokiest captain in Starfleet, and they used to shit on her. Like, not only did the temporary captain that showed up, the one that was Mariner's friend, talk shit about Dayton, but so did later on Captain Freeman when they said we got to save Dayton's ass again. I was like, damn, yo, Dayton's pretty shitty at her job.
Not just Mariner's friend.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I guess there might be, because they alluded that there might have been more than friends in Starfleet.
So, Mike McMahon has said that they plan to explore Beckett's sexuality and more about her character in season 2, and he said that he's just not that good at writing that kind of stuff, and that the implication that they wanted to make was that Beckett and the replacement captain, the temporary captain, were a thing back at the Academy.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Hey, you saw it.
Which I did get that vibe.
Yeah.
I got that vibe too, watching the episode, that they were more than friends, and it was just I was wondering if the episode would explore it, but it didn't. But that's fine. They can definitely get into that. I know some people were upset, but give season 2 a chance.
People are always gonna be upset.
Yeah, you can't please everybody, but season 2 I think will bring that about more, and that's super interesting, man. That's awesome. About the finale though, man. As you mentioned, that was a strong finale. Anything else about it that you guys enjoyed?
Interesting thing. Mm-hmm. Even though the finale had the usual level of references to other Star Trek series,
mm-hmm.
it also had a reference to every previous episode of Lower Decks.
Thank you very much. And that was one of the slickest things that the show did. There was continuity between episodes, but not as much as you saw everything build up to a head in the final ep. And there was a callback to every episode in this one, and it was cool to see. And it makes you wonder exactly what other callbacks we'll get in later episodes of the show. If anything, that thrilled me to no end when I saw that, especially when they got to the hallway fight. When Mariner's all the Mariner's contraband from the first episode they start to use in that melee on the ship. That was a fantastic callback right there.
I also love the utterly ridiculous concept of the exocomp ensign who beamed herself into space at the first sign of trouble, and then just was like, guys.
Oh, peanut hamper.
Yes, yes, indeed. Which is true to form, because the exocomps will they look out for themselves.
They have a self-preservation instinct. Yes, that was exactly the whole point of their whole plight.
So it should have been a surprise to all of them when she decided to do.
I guess they didn't read up on the history of the exocomps.
Yeah, exactly. You figured they would have been well aware of that. To ask her to do something like that is like, nope. You're gonna have to send a human, because they're a bit more selfless than them.
Yahtzee pointed out that yes, they included that god awful, nobody knows why this exists, the Spock toy helmet with the siren on it.
Oh, I can tell you why it exists.
Why does that thing exist?
The company that made it had acquired the Star Trek license, and they had released that helmet as a toy under another name prior to that, because Star Trek was popular. It was coming back into vogue in the 70s. They decided to re-release that helmet with the Star Trek name on it and call it the Spock helmet. That's the reason why that exists. It was just a kind of a repackaging of that toy. That's all it is.
That sounds about right.
Pretty much. Shout outs to Toy Galaxy on YouTube. I found that out from that. So there you go. But anything any other critiques or whatnot about the show in general?
One thing that strikes me as a little bit odd is, and this also is like kind of still in keeping with Star Trek though, is just what the fuck uniforms does Starfleet ever choose to use? Because we see that on the Titan they're still using the First Contact uniforms, but then on all these California class ships and some of these star bases they're using this new Lower Deck style uniform. But then in just a couple of years we see from the flashbacks in Picard that they're using yet another set of uniforms that are entirely different. And then, of course, during the current time in Picard, they're using yet another set of uniforms.
And I would have thought that these were just akin to the California class ship, but then we saw them also on the Vancouver too. So that throws that theory out the window.
I'll tell you what it is. It's what happens in our real military. They'll adopt a different uniform, but they grandfather the old ones. You can wear them, because I remember being on bases and stuff where the older ones, people would still wear like the old like digital one, but while they were doing the new camo one. So I think that's where they're kind of getting that from. But
so
I would probably
that makes sense in the real world, because you actually have to,
roll out,
produce these materials with fabrics. But in Star Trek, you can just put the old uniform into the replicator, dematerialize it, and then whatever the new uniform design is,
I think
rematerialize it with the new design.
I think they're doing it based on that. I think with like Riker and stuff, it's like that's the last time you saw him in the uniform.
Yeah.
So they probably just said, let's just do it. Like for whatever reason, he probably, everybody on that, he's probably given some latitude. Like everybody has to wear the old, movie uniforms and stuff like that. So I think that's probably what it is.
It could be a command decision too on board the ship. They may decide on what uniform they kind of want to embrace as
well.
I
think
got
it's
a brand
the
new
writers.
ship like the Titan.
I think it's the writers just showing the absurdity of so many different types of uniforms.
Oh, of course.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you see like some of the, because I think at one point wasn't there the old like Next Generation uniforms at one point.
Yeah,
one of the episodes.
Well, when Deep Space Nine had started, they had, of course, the star bases, I guess, had their own uniforms, but they still rocked the Next Gen uniform on Next Gen. They didn't start transitioning to a similar uniform until, of course, the movies. And then you had the Voyager uniform, which is a variation of the Deep Space Nine uniform.
Funny thing about that, they were going to do an entirely new uniform style for Generations. At the very last minute, they decided that they didn't like the way they looked. They actually had made the action figures already, so the Playmates action figures have the new uniform. The only thing they ended up actually making new was the comm badge design.
Yeah.
And then they decided at the very last minute to do a mix of Next Gen and DS9 jumpsuits.
Wow.
But they didn't have time to refit all of the actors for the DS9 jumpsuits. So they literally used DS9 jumpsuits that did not fit them.
Oh, damn.
So I believe Frakes was wearing Avery Brooks's uniform, and it didn't quite fit him, which is why like the sleeves were so short and rolled up.
That's so wild.
And that's why you see some people wearing the DS9 uniform, but you never see Worf, Crusher, or Troy wearing the DS9 uniforms because they didn't. I guess they can, rummage up any for them to use.
I think even when Worf starts showing up in DS9, the first couple of times
he was wearing the old. Yes.
Yeah.
So Star Trek has always been a mess about uniforms. On a different note, have you all read some of the Picard theories about some Lower Decks plot points?
No.
Well, I haven't read those yet. And if anything, I know this is for those that don't know, this is 5 years. The show starts off 5 years before the incident on Mars. That takes place in Picard, I guess in 2085. So
2385.
23. Sorry, God, I can't believe it's at 2085. That's only in a few years in our timeline. But 2385, yeah. So if for those who are wondering, that it takes place before that. But no, I haven't read up on that at all.
So there are two minor things. They could be true. We'll see. One of them was that the weird heist in Veritas that involved stealing the old Romulan bird of prey out of the Vulcan Museum. People are wondering if that ended up being the ship that later showed up in Picard.
Oh, no way. That would be crazy if that was the case. Man, I guess someone else would have stole it then. That's awesome.
And then in the season finale, when they're talking about how that planet that has the little rice embassy, and Troy makes some comment about, which rice and fuck statue should we bring?
Yes.
That people are wondering if that is when Thaddeus was conceived, because based on his presumed age when he died, he would probably be born during season 2 of Lower Decks.
Yeah, he would be conceived in 80 and born in 81. I thought that exact same thing when they made that. I thought that was what the purpose of that joke was, that it would allude to that. That makes sense. The math adds up on that one. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. What I have actually been reading up on is the theory behind Mariner. Have you read anything on this yet?
Clue.
What's that? Okay. I tend to believe that there's a reason why Mariner is the way she is. And there is, in every episode, and you may not have noticed, I don't know you have, but there's been a reference or a display of her unique abilities in those episodes, or a reference to superhumans or genetically engineered humans, either as a joke or a throwaway. A lot of people believe that she might be one of them. She might be someone on the level of Khan. There's always been like some Easter egg or something that lends itself to that. There was one episode where they were joking about who was better. Donna, I forget his name, but the superhuman that showed up in Next Gen.
Yeah, that guy from that one episode.
And they were debating between who was better, him or Khan. That was one episode. There was another episode, the Moist Vessel episode, where instantaneously she can sense the change of pressure and humidity on board the ship, like the second it happened when the ship was overtaken by those by the spores that turn non-organic life into organic life. There's just been other things she's exhibited throughout the course of the series so far that make her stand out, and I think that's the reason why she's kind of weird. And that might be it. I don't know what the story is. I'm spitballing. But if you go back almost in every episode, there's an episode where she, and I think it's the second episode, where she subconsciously in her sleep quotes something that Khan said in the second, in Star Trek 2 about the, I forget what the quote is, but she's asleep in the, inside of the shuttle. And she says a quote directly from the second Star Trek movie. I think, maybe the series will get further into it, but I do think she might be genetically enhanced. Again, it's a crazy theory. I know. Again, I'm Mr. Theory here.
It's a little out there, and it also would be kind of unoriginal because it would just be a repeat of Bashir.
Yeah, because that's what Bashir was. Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that about Bashir.
Yeah, Bashir. Yeah, spoiler alert. He ends up he's genetically enhanced.
Wow. Well, if this is a big reveal for Mariner, it would explain to me why she has an aversion to command, and that might be because she might fear what she would do with it. That's going to be an interesting story.
Or the simplest matter is she's very suited to do it. She just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, but I think there is a story there.
I think that's where
we're going to learn.
I think that's where they're. To me, that's more plausible than that, because that's the thing I get with her is like she's very suited to do it.
Yeah, and
she should be, and everybody's telling her this is the path you want to do, but she didn't do it because she wants to do it. She just wants to, she wants to hang out.
It was more evident in the final episode of the season where she had to take command of the ship, and both her and Boimler and the bridge crew that were there, they had to try to survive against the Packlids until Riker.
So is that theory of Solbro guarantee?
I'm not going to call it a guarantee.
You want to guarantee it?
I'm willing to give it a percentage, and that's about, I think, 75% it has a chance of happening.
Ooh. Wow, that's pretty high,
I
man.
don't think she's normal by... not
Mark
just her
this
being...
stream. Mark this stream.
Not just her being, as crazy as she is, but I think there's a method to her madness, and I think that has something to do with it. So hold me to the fire, guys. If the show doesn't show that, I
just thought it was a comedy show with a lot of in jokes and Easter eggs from prior series.
They showed us that they can plant things in previous episodes and then have it come back to light later on. So I do think that maybe there's other things that
they can tell a story.
Yeah, sure, but it doesn't mean that that's not outside of it. And this is something that Star
Well,
Trek has been known to do.
We'll
And if
hold
you
you
watch
to
Rick and
to the
Morty,
fire anyway.
yeah, if you watch Rick and
Yeah.
Morty, they do that in that show all the time, and he was one of
Yeah,
the
I know.
showrunners of that. So, it's not outside the realm of possibility. So I'll just leave it there, and I'll turn it back over to you guys.
I hope not that, because it would be kind of a thing with Bashir, because that's the first thing I thought of.
Well, I didn't even know they did that with Bashir until just now. So,
Yeah.
if anything,
That's what you get for not watching things.
hey man, I told
Yeah.
Neo before the show I'm gonna be. I just got caught up on Star Trek Discovery, and my next goal is to get caught up on Deep Space Nine. So I want to do that and just be part of the conversation finally. And
Well,
maybe-
when you get to the 5th season episode, I believe it's called Dr. Bashir, I presume, and there's a shocking revelation, you will not be too shocked.
Yeah,
Yeah, they won't be too shocked.
Yes, indeed. I guess I won't be, but
But it'll fit into your narrative that there are more people like that, because you do find that out too.
absolutely.
So.
Any other critiques before we get into ratings?
Anything that you guys didn't like, anything that you're hoping for, or they could have done better?
I didn't like the unevenness of the characters until the series figured out how to kind of balance them out. In the beginning part of the show, I'd say the first 3 episodes, they were still trying to get a hold of the formula. And I know that was a big complaint from a lot of people, but I think they got a handle of it by the time they were midway through the season.
It happens with every show.
It
I
does,
mean,
and it
yeah.
actually happened faster with this one than other Star Trek series. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes Star Trek series take a season or two to get things right, and this one got right by the end. This is a very strong first season, and
Well, it's also the shortest, so they kind of have to get their shit together.
that's true. But there's been other first seasons of other shows that have been like 10 to 15 episodes, and they still are trying to figure themselves out. So with this, there's a very strong showing, and I'm excited for how the series direction goes in season 2.
Chris, anything?
No, I think I covered everything already.
Any downsides? Anything that bother you outside of that first episode? Or
Nope, just went through them all now.
okay, cool. All right. Well, I guess we could go to our ratings. So, Sobro, what do you give this?
Oh man, I'm gonna give this.
What do you give first season of Star Trek Lower Decks?
I'm gonna give it a strong rating, but also a conservative rating. I'm gonna give it 4 random Q appearances out of 5. John Delancey, shout outs to him. I hope to see him. I hope he's just nothing but a random appearance. I don't want him to be like the thread in the episode. Just be comedy relief. I'm cool with that.
Chris?
I'm going to give this one 4 Janeway protocols out of 5.
Oh, yeah.
Will we ever find out what the fuck that is?
It doesn't sound good, whatever it is.
Nobody wants to do it. That's the thing. Yeah,
Yo,
I got it. I think it's got something to do with getting your brand new ship lost on its first mission.
Yeah. My man on the bridge said, "Are you sure you want to do that?"
Or, maybe it involves murdering your accidentally joined crew members.
Yeah, that too.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it 4 double axe handle fists out of 5.
Nice. There you go.
But I will
thought
give
about
you. I will ask you guys this: over under season 2. Do they somehow fit Picard in a cameo somewhere?
Man, I don't.
Just
Patrick
you
Stewart
have
would do it in
Riker.
a hot second.
Picard is still. He's still active. Is there a point you can bring him in?
He's on the Enterprise, so
Yeah.
They should save him for the right moment, but yeah, he's still active out there, and Patrick Stewart already does animation. Like he makes mad appearances in Family Guy and American Dad, so I don't think it's outside the realm of
So
possibility.
what do you think over under, Chris? You think he'll show up in season? There's going to be a cameo somewhere in season 2.
I think at some point you have to have an Enterprise on this show, and I want to see Picard be like depicted as goofy
Yeah.
as Patrick Stewart is in like TNG outtakes.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's so goofy in those outtakes, man.
Y'all have seen the memes. Y'all seen the gifs. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Boy, they're the best. Especially when he sticks his tongue out.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's a a wish list thing I want to see. They've had a lot of homages to the animated series throughout this, man. I want to try a time travel episode, much like the Deep Space Nine one, where they go back in time and they show up in an episode of Star Trek, the animated series, in the having to deal with a situation where they got to go back and fix something, but they're drawn in the style of the Star Trek, the animated series. Like when they go back in time, that's exactly what they look like, and it's animated just like that. They did it to look like spot for spot that, because they love that series to death. You can see it.
Be animated just as stiffly.
Yes.
And use all of the animation shortcuts, like showing the running shadows.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
The filmation animation style. It would not be.
So that means you'd have to have a Kirk cameo.
Yeah. Well, they could just take. They could put themselves in a previous episode of the animated series and reuse the voice acting.
Just
from that episode.
C-Lab it.
Yeah, C-Lab it. Yeah, basically.
C-Lab it. Yeah.
It'd be fantastic, man. That's what I want to see, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
I could see that happening, and I would support that.
It might be a cold open though, so there might just be like a 5-minute gag and that's it. But
it could be.
Who knows?
That's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Anything else?
No, I'm solid, man. Go watch it if you guys haven't don't know where to find it. It's on CBS All Access. They have free access all the time. You can just sign up for a week and watch it through. And hope you guys dig it, man. It's a lot of fun.
Or maybe by the time you're listening to this, it's Paramount Plus. So
yeah, exactly. And on top of that, if you're a Star Trek fan in general, the goal is for them to have Star Trek year round. So if anything, this is going to be season 2 will be sometime next year, and there'll be a lot more Star Trek to come. So if anything, that's fantastic to me. Not every Star Trek series works for everybody. But I'm down with at least giving them a shot. So I'm glad I watched the show. I didn't get to mention this in the beginning, but I had no interest in seeing this show until a coworker told me about it. And then I banged out episodes 1 through 4 because that's where they were. And I fell in love with it by the time I got to the end of episode 4. So I'm glad I did watch it. And I'm glad Neil watched it. And Chris was on top of it, I'm sure, from the very beginning. So that's what's up.
I'm still waiting to see if it's the King Arthur of Star Trek shows. It could be, but I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I thought you were just gonna shit on it because I liked it. So thank you for giving it a fair shot.
I thought it was. I mean, I kind of knew what it was anyways because I used to read the episode summaries, so I kind of knew all the stuff. Anyways, so it wasn't too many surprises, but it's nice to see this stuff, and in live action or animated as opposed to just reading words. So.
Absolutely.
But, all right, do we have any tweets or anything, Soulbro?
Not that I can see. But again, thank you, the Black Hat, for submitting those tweets that you did as well, and. Other than that,
tell us where they can find us, Soulbro, so we can get out of here.
No doubt, man. MAHQ.net. That's where the magic happens. That's the Mecha and Anime headquarters. Make sure to go over there and bookmark the page and check out the developments happening there. It's going through a remodel, and there's a lot of great resources up there, like information on your favorite mecha, or reviews of a lot of mecha shows that have come in the past and ones that are currently airing. So make sure to go over there and check out the content. You can also join the conversation over at mechatalk.net. That is the official forums of MAHQ. You can also find us on Facebook. Just go to the groups and search for MAHQ1, or follow us on Twitter at MAHQDOTNET, and Gundam's Twitter, which is Gundam that's ATMAHQ. Gundam at MAHQ. And other than that, that's it. I think tomorrow night we got golf happening on Fighters Ready, and Gundam Versus on Saturday. So if you have Gundam Versus, please come on out. We usually start the streams.
Target Soulbro.
You target SBR, man. We usually start our streams at 10 p.m. They're right over on twitch.tv/FightersReady. So if you got everybody's golf on the PS4, join us on Friday. If you got Gundam Extreme Versus Maxi Boost on, join us on Saturday for matches in that, or just to watch the stream. And thank you for supporting us.
There you go. Chris, anything before we get out of here?
Check out the Gundam Wiki. It's great.
No!
Yes. Check out Gundam Wiki. You've heard it first. So, Well, thank you, everybody. We'll be back in a couple weeks. I don't know exactly when. Just note that we're towards the end of the year here, so usually it's always like about at least one episode. I don't think we're going to do too many more in December there. So, and then we'll finally kiss 2020 away, and hopefully 2021's better. So, thank you, everybody. We'll be back in a few weeks. Talk to you later.
So it's been a lot of fun, but, well, I guess that's all.
シビルウォーの数ヶ月後、ピーターは日常生活に戻った。しかし、いきなりまた新しい敵が現れる。仲間を救うために、スパイダーマンはアメリカ首都の空へ飛び出す。ワシントン空中決戦、バルサーの首都、戦え、スパイダーマン。
Get back!